Hi everyone, I'm here in the Acton Homeless Concern. I'm here with Ian, one of the centre's managers. Can you tell us a little bit about the centre? What is the centre all about? What does the centre do?
Well, the two centres that we've got is Acton Homeless Concern, and we've got the Damien Centre, which is more like a cafe and a social place that people could meet. In EMMAUS House, we have services going on. For example, today we've got benefits. There's a gentleman doing benefits for people and things, and we also have men's clothing today. So we have different services, and some of these services we have women and children's group. We have a solicitor come in, helping with housing problems. We have a chiropodist come in, helping with feet. We refer to doctors and dentists, our own doctors and dentists and opticians that comes in once a month too. So there's various things going on each day, each week.
And what time do you open? What time do you close?
This centre opens at 11:45 each day and will shut at 10 to 2. The Damien Centre opens at 9 o'clock for breakfast and shuts at 11:45 and reopens at 2 o'clock for supper. So we do 3 meals a day basically for people.
Okay, and what kind of, if I say what kind of people come here, obviously the people are homeless, but I mean, how do they get to be homeless? What is their stories and what's their backgrounds and how did they come to be here?
They don't have to be homeless to come here. Anybody can use the centre. We rather deal with need, and needs very wide subject, So we work with people that can't read and write that will just come here to get a letter written. We come here with people with very poor life skills, can't manage, so we're helping them. But we also work with homeless people. Homeless people can be homeless because of various reasons. A lot to do with mental health, a lot to do with drug and alcohol, but there's also other reasons why people become homeless. I mean, people forget bereavement's a big one for me. A lot of bereavement goes on. So, for example, a gentleman has an elderly mother and father, and has lived with them. They die. The mother and father looked after them all their life. They have no skills to carry on, and so they often become their rent, they don't pay it and they don't understand, and so this is the sort of people that we get. We get a lot of ex-travellers that are now living in houses. Their life skills are very poor in senses, and some of them didn't go to schools and they can't read and write and things like that. And then we get homeless people from all. I mean, I've had doctors here that's been homeless. I've had a doctor in here that's been homeless. I've had quite a famous musician that's been homeless and unfortunately died a month ago, but we looked after him for 6 months before we got reunited with his family. But he was a very talented man and went all over the world. So, and then you get people that have had bad upbringings, family problems, you get a lot of that too. So there's various reasons why people become homeless, and we always say once you start falling down the embankment, it's hard to grab
come back
onto. Yeah.
So what would you say, what are the things that your charity needs, and what is it that people could do and help with? Obviously money is one thing, but I'm sure there is other things.
So we take pride in our volunteers. They're fantastic. Without the volunteers, we wouldn't be able to run the charities. We have at the moment, I think, 60 volunteers working for us.
Wow.
Some 2 hours a week, some 35 hours a week, depending on what they want to give. So for me, it's volunteers that I'm always looking for. It's clothing I'm always looking for. Toiletries I'm always looking for. And things like soap, washing up powder, sugar, anything that you can give to us that's in date, because obviously we wouldn't give anybody something that was out of date.
No, of course not.
So basically anything you can give like that. And finance helps. I mean, I've been asking over Christmas for Oyster cards, because it's amazing. Nobody's, they can't afford to get on the bus, and sometimes they get into so much trouble when they get on the bus because they haven't got a bus ticket and they get fined, and then that comes back to me. And so there's a lot of companies over Christmas have given me Oyster cards. They're fantastic. If anybody can just buy an Oyster card, put £5 on it, it's great. It's fantastic because we can get people, for example, to say Mungo's, to housing appointments, to drug and alcohol counselling and things like that. So that's really important, the travel aspect of it all.
And so was that just for Christmas, or is that in general, you Oyster cards?
No, I just started at Christmas. Basically, why I started it was because they go to Crisis at Christmas, and this year they weren't offering transport from here. So I was getting Oyster cards to get to the point where they could get transport. So that's the reason why I started it. But do you know what? They're always asking me for Oyster cards, so it would be a great thing to have on my top 10 list, along with the sugar, along with the coffee, along with the tea. We have a top 10 list downstairs.
So in terms of finding them somewhere to stay, finding them somewhere to sleep, maybe there is not one solution, but is there something that you could say?
So at the moment the church shelters are open in Ealing, and I take up to 15 people, which is fantastic, and they come in and interview the people. I just do the referral form. Then I refer people to social service at Percival House. I refer people sometimes if they've got cases, and also I work with St Mungo's and Street Link, the two major ones that help out. But there are so many people that are homeless, and so many people need help in it, and there's not enough people dealing with it ably to do so, because they need to put more employment into helping the homeless. We'd get somewhere, I think.
So the difficulty is to not necessarily only to find them the housing, but to actually to bring them through the structure and through the paperwork and everything, right?
Just for example, I've been working here 11 years, yeah. I know people who've been homeless for 11 years. Now, that was because they're not entitled to benefits and things, but they've been living in parks and they've been living in sheds and garages, and they've got used to it so much now, So this is a constant thing, why homeless people that have been homeless that long, they work, they get a job in a building site, and then 3 weeks later they haven't got the job. It's not because they lose the job, there's no more employment there, so the next one, and they wait and they get another job. It's kind of like that, but it's not helping their cause, because when they do get the money, a lot of them spend it on hostels, and it eats all the money up, do you see?
Yeah, of course. It's not an easy situation to come out of.
No.
Okay, so is there anyone here that you think I could be talking to that we can maybe try and help and find a job for? Shall we go and see downstairs?
Yeah, possibly a few people actually. So. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's wrap up and we'll go downstairs and we'll see who I can find and who you can find. Thanks.